All right, we may be up live right now. I think so. If not, we will be any second now. So, hey, it's Brett again coming to you live on YouTube on a new live stream. Continuing something that I've been doing just a little bit more frequently lately, coming to you live and using the opportunity when I have a lesson that's rescheduled or canceled to actually just jump online. Now, tonight's a Sunday night, so hanging out, and I had a tentative meeting with someone, and fortunately, we were able to get that rescheduled for another day. But I had the spot open, and so coming to you live. Saucy, thanks for jumping in. And I think actually that's the reminder. I'm still pretty new and pretty rough with the live stream. Um, so please feel free to jump in with comments. Um, and add the comments anywhere. I'm getting better at watching for them, so better chance that if you ask a question, I can, or leave a comment, I can address it here as we go through tonight. Tonight's topic is metronome training. Metronome training. And just in case you're coming on here right now and you don't know anything about me, or if you're watching this the playback later on, tonight's lesson is just for beginning trumpet players. In fact, any musician, whether you're a singer, saxophone player, cello player, if you're a beginner, you can benefit by this. It's just getting started using the metronome if that's something that's new for you. And why am I doing this again tonight? Because I have a little bit of an open spot with a reschedule, and I thought, well, I've got a couple of options. I can jump on and play video games, and I am absolutely the very worst person you've ever known that can play Fortnite. I shouldn't even say I can play Fortnite. I can't play Fortnite. I should start one of those video channels and play Fortnite because people would tune in and just to behold how horrible this guy is. Would you believe that I don't even have one single kill? This is just a little bit of an aside. You know, I'm bouncing through trying to figure out how to use this game. I see this guy hiding in a bush, and I come up behind him, and I'm thinking like Call of Duty. That's my frame of reference, you know. So in that one, you know, you pull out your knife and go to town, and it's done. So I had my weapon, but I put that away and pulled out my axe and start going to town, and of course he jumps up, and that was the end of me. So anyway, that's how bad I am at Fortnite. So fortunately for the people on well, I guess unfortunately I'm an easy kill there. But fortunately for you, maybe if this is something that you can benefit by, we're going to talk about metronome training. So let's get to it. Metronome. And again, one of my students, the reason this is the topic this week is because one of my students is having a particularly hard time, actually two of them, just listening to the metronome. And using the metronome seems like a pretty easy, almost self explanatory, intuitive type of a technique or process. And for some people it is, some people it's not. So don't feel bad if you're in the latter category. Um, the metronome app that I use is called Metronome Beats. It's just something I use on my phone. It's Metronome Beats. I'm sure it's available for well, Android. That's what I use. I'm pretty sure it's available with iPhone. But go to the iStore, or the iTunes, or the Play Store. You're going to find something that's just basic for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you have one of those standalone units, that's awesome as well. A couple of things to get started. One, actually, technique on the way to use the metronome that I really strongly recommend is using your headphones or earbuds, whatever you happen to have. So let me get this out of the way. Why use the earbuds? Because when you have the metronome that makes a click when you're playing your trumpet, a lot of times that sound can get drowned out, right? It's just kind of a tiny little click sound, and yours, if you have that electronic standalone, might be more of a beep, beep, beep. And if you don't have it right here in your ear, almost sounding like it's knocking you inside your skull, then it can sometimes be hard to hear and you lose it. So if you can't hear the metronome, you might as well, I don't know, go make pudding with lettuce or something. You're just wasting your time if you can't hear that metronome. So make sure that number one, either your metronome is loud enough that you can hear it, or number two, you're putting it right here in your headphones so that you can really hear that tick or that click. I'm trying to watch the comments. Band class tomorrow. I have to pick my instrument on Wednesday. Aha. So Saucy says, and this is just a real quick aside, I won't change our topic too much. Which should I play, clarinet, saxophone, or trumpet? Well, what do you think I'm going to say, right? You're wrong. I'm going to say whichever one you like the best, right? Which one really turns your crank? Which one are you passionate about? And also go by which one you need. I'm assuming you're like a middle school student maybe. and you're just beginning band, looking for an instrument to play. So those are the two, just real quick, not to get too far off. So the abbreviated answer: what are you passionate about? What is your band? What does your band need? So those are the two things that can guide you there. All right, back to the metronome. So we're going to assume right now that you've either got your standalone metronome or you've got your little metronome app on your phone that's so easy to get either on the Play Store or the iTunes Store. I'm setting my metronome at 80 beats per minute. And again, tonight it's just going to be an abbreviated. I'm not going into how to set the metronome or how to set the tempo. That's going to be pretty self-explanatory. But let me move this to the mic a little bit. The very first steps that I recommend with my students, once you've got that click, just listen first. Just listen. And then add a clap to see if you can clap along with the metronome. You can do this with me right here, assuming I've got a decent bandwidth and there's no buffering or anything. We've got a steady tempo. Okay. Now, some of you, it may not be quite that easy, but what I want you to do is listen for being exactly on time with that click. If you hear a but up, a little bit like this, right? If it's not exactly happening at the same time, you're clapping the click, that means you're off. You need to make an adjustment. If you can make the adjustment on the fly by either speeding up or slowing down a little bit, fantastic. If you can't do it, or if you're not completely sure, not 100% confident that you're playing right with that click, stop and reset. Just listen. Tick, 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 clap, 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 clap. The more you do this, the more acute you're going to be. Your ear is going to be. So right now, you might feel like ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. You might feel like, yeah, I think I'm with I think I'm with the beat, when actually you're not quite there. But the more you do this, the more accurate your ear is going to be, the more accurate your tempo is going to be. The next step, after you clap, add the count. So you can count. I'm just going to have you count because 4/4 is its common time signature. Let me have you count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now add the clap. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And just do this for a little while, right? Don't get completely bored with it, but do it until you're comfortable with it. You're going to recognize probably that you're going to start either speeding up or start to drag a little bit. So see if you can make that adjustment. Try to listen to me and see what I do. See if I speed up or if I slow down. Can you hear I'm a little bit behind the beat? So I'm going to speed up. Now I'm with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea there. Turn that off because that's so annoying, I know, after a little bit. So just practice clapping along. Notice I haven't even picked up my trumpet yet, right? This is one activity that I think is really good to do during your practice session when you need to take a little bit of a break. Give your chops a little bit of a break because you've been playing for a while. You just need a break. I always say go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, do something just to take a break. This is an outstanding activity to do during your practice for just a few minutes. It's going to help establish that sense of rhythm for you and also give your chops a little break. Saucy and Symphonic Band, awesome. I'm glad you're getting going there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for you. I'm sure it will be. Okay, so the next step, add a foot tap. So I've got my little, I don't know if you can hear my feet. I don't have a hard sole shoe, but take a listen. So tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to add the clap now. And now how about a count? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm clapping, I'm tapping, I'm counting. Okay? That's the next step. Turn that off. Come on. One step further then is to add eighth notes. So far, all we've done is paid attention to just quarter notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fantastic because that's normally how you're going to listen to your metronome. But all the songs that you play, all the music you play is definitely not going to be just straight quarter notes. So start clapping eighth notes. Throw in some eighth notes with your quarter notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's going to be a little bit harder, right? You're going to, if you're listening really closely, you're probably going to notice that you might be just a little bit off. So just work with it as best you can. Bum, 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 bum. Next step, now we're going to grab the trumpet. So we're just going to play quarter notes. And by the way, I've got my metronome set at, whoops, there goes my focus. I'll try to get that. I've got my metronome set at 80 beats per minute right now. That's not crucial. I want you to set your metronome at whatever is an easy tempo for you. Keep in mind that sometimes a really slow tempo is actually harder to keep up with than a little bit faster tempo. So if you find you're having really trouble with it, that old adage of slow everything down and it's better, it doesn't necessarily hold true. So just a steady, comfortable tempo for you. Now I'm going to play I'm going to pick out a G. You can play whatever whatever note you want to play on your instrument. It doesn't really matter. Aim for your best articulation, but more than anything right now, we're practicing metronome training, right? Rhythm. So just try to keep with that click. And again, your headphones are in, right? 1, 2, 3. And again, most likely if you're just learning how to do this, you're not going to be right with the click right away. So again, listen carefully to me and tell me if you think I'm behind or ahead. Tell me if I'm dragging or if I'm rushing. Here we go. All right. Hopefully that was obvious to tell. Oh, stop this. Sorry for that incessant clicking. Hopefully that was obvious. I was rushing, right? The metronome was steady. I was too fast. If you can make that adjustment again on the fly, perfect. If you can't make that adjustment right away, just stop, reset, listen to that tick again. Tick, 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 and then play along with it. So fast forward. Let's say you've been practicing this for a little bit. You can do it. What's the next step? Hopefully you guessed adding eighth notes. So that's going to sound like this. Start metronome. 1, 2, 3, and okay. Hopefully you've noticed, come on. Hopefully you're starting to catch on that you can play anything with the metronome. So guess what? My students my one student in particular that I'm working with this week on metronome training, I'm having him use the metronome for all his warm-ups, the entire warm-up session. So all of his lip slurs become half notes. So and he's playing half notes with his metronome. So it's going to come out like this. That was bad, but you get the idea. Okay. Adding that metronome to your warm-ups is going to just be another way of reinforcing that sense of steady tempo in your head. Okay. So where was I going to go from that? Oh, so that's it. After that, if you're to the point where you're pretty confident and you're pretty comfortable with that, and you've practiced it a little bit and you're staying with the beat, then it's just a matter of reading your music, right? Whoops. Again, camera. 1, 2. Tap, tap, tap. My foot's tapping this whole time, all right? Okay. Foot's tapping the whole time. What are a couple of other things you can do just out in life when you're along, maybe in your car, listening to the radio, listening to your tunes on the way to school or on the way to work? Just tap your fingers. If you're riding the subway, right, don't go nuts and clapping your hands, but you can just sort of tap your knee. If you're in the car and you're driving, you can tap the steering wheel. Tap quarter notes along to the music that you're listening. Tap eighth notes. Bum, 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 bum. Whatever you're listening to, you're going to be able to find that easy quarter note beat. Don't worry about getting too fancy. Just steady, steady tempo. So, all right. So, barring any last minute questions, here's the last call for questions and comments. You're welcome to put something in there. Oh, and actually, because we're going to wrap up here in a second, um, I'm working on a couple of other main video series. One is especially, and actually, Saucy, this may be relevant to you if you end up going with the trumpet. How to buy a trumpet, how to buy a first trumpet for beginners. So that's one thing that I'm going to be uh, bringing up soon. And if you have any ideas of questions, specific questions that you have, definitely you can get in touch with me a number of ways. Of course, comments in YouTube is always welcome. Email toot, T-O-O-T, at etrumpetLessons.com. Toot at etrumpetLessons.com. Just the way it sounds. The letter E, rather. Facebook. In fact, tonight's presentation on metronome training is actually kind of a redo of something I did on Facebook just earlier last week. I don't know how big of a crossover my Facebook audience is with YouTube. So those of you who find me on YouTube, that's awesome. If you find me on Facebook, that's awesome too. If you don't yet follow me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/etrumpet-lessons. etrumpet-lessons. And if you found me tonight and you think this is cool and you want to be notified of the next time I've got a cancellation in my private lessons and I decide to hop on YouTube and go on a live stream, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're going to be able to hear, so you're going to be able to get the notifications that I'm coming on. Again, when I've got a cancellation of my private lesson, I'm trying to get in the habit of jumping on YouTube to take that topic that I was going to discuss with that student and come out live and present the same topic. Sometimes it'll be on Facebook, sometimes it'll be on YouTube. I don't know which is going to be which. So anyway, make sure you like the page on Facebook, eTrumpet Lessons, and and if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So no comments coming through here. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching this later on in the fact, feel free to put in comments in the comment section. I monitor those and I try to get back to you with an answer if it's a question as soon as I can. Otherwise, have a wonderful night. Don't worry, I'm not going to beat you at Fortnite, so that's the good news. And I think that's about it. So with that, I think that's the end of our live stream. Have a wonderful week. Speak soon. Bye.